And good morning. Once again, this is the Talk Shop Candidate Awareness Tour 2026 in Studio 255 at the Laramie Plains Civic Center, brought to you in part by Dan Passman, Union Home Mortgage, 208 Grand Avenue. We have Merav Ben David. She is a current candidate for the 2026 election cycle, seeking your vote for Albany County Commissioner. Good morning, and how are you today, Merav?
Good morning, good to see you again, Eric. I don't know, we've seen each other in the studio a lot this spring, summer.
I appreciate the brilliance that we found in varied topics together. I appreciate engagement's my thing. I'm not too shy about getting people involved, and people that accept the invitation are really special to me, and most of all because I'm not alone in this world, and I appreciate the conversation with others. So when I get a chance to talk, to listen, I always learn more, and I believe that we do that best together.
And I have to say that I appreciate you having the talk shop and allowing people to share opinions and knowledge with others. So thank you for having us.
You know, what made you, for those that don't know you, Merav, give our audience a little background introduction to yourself.
Okay, but before we do that, though,
all right.
I promised you that I'll bring you
pollinator.
Rocky Mountain bee plants. But you know what happened?
Payola. You hear that? Payola, everybody. Yeah.
They started blooming early, so I'm not going to uproot any
until the end. We got to wait.
They are nearly 2 months early.
Oh, wow.
So instead, I brought you some mint for my garden.
Nice. Thank you.
It smells wonderful. And you can offer your future guests. Yeah.
Nice.
You can offer your future guests tea with mint.
Beauty.
Like it.
Beauty. I appreciate that. Thank you, Merav Ben David, in mint for today. And so what other special you talk about an early bloom in your yard.
It's not just my yard, everywhere.
Yeah.
There everything this year was early. We know we had a very early spring, except the pronghorn. They didn't give, but I expected them to be a little early, and they were right on time, which is surprising. But anyway,
as you travel, as wide as you travel, and as far and wide as you go, I really consider the world as your yard. You embrace all terrain.
So let me give those listeners who don't know me a little bit background. As you asked, I am a wildlife ecologist. I taught the wildlife ecology program at the University of Wyoming for 25 years and retired recently in December after more than 25 years of teaching, which I loved and enjoyed. But I've been involved in local politics for about 6 years now. I ran for the U.S. Senate seat back in 2020 against Cynthia Lummis, and appreciate everybody who voted for me. Obviously, I didn't win that election, but learned a lot and met really cool people all across Wyoming. A lot of things I didn't know about Wyoming. And then in 2022, I put my hat in the ring against Ocean Andrew in House District 46, and didn't win that either, but again, met a lot of our neighbors all over the county and learned a lot of new things. And
what did you learn running for Senate and running for House District 46 representation for Wyoming, Albany County? What did you learn that you will apply if elected to be Albany County Commissioner?
Excellent question. So what I've learned is I shifted my career to include politics. I'm still a scientist, but doing a lot more advocacy and politics because of my concerns about climate change. Back in 2009, I was the chief scientist on an icebreaker expedition to the Arctic Ocean, and we were capturing polar bears and learning about how they deal with receding ice in the Arctic. And while we were on that expedition, I realized that our projections of climate change are too optimistic. That actually, when you are on an icebreaker in the Arctic Ocean,
it's happening real time then.
It is much worse than our modeling and projection, that our models are optimistic. And I got concerned. I've been concerned, which is why
When were you last in the Arctic doing that study, that research?
2012.
2012.
That was the last time we were on the ground.
Is that frightening to know that 14 years later we are probably not better?
Well, much worse. It's really interesting. I still work with polar bears research. Most of the work we do now involves using drones, which is cool because we don't handle them as much. There are disadvantages to that as well, but we do a lot of drone work. So I work with people who are drone experts, and we try to estimate the condition of polar bears and estimate their numbers remotely from not just satellites but also drones now, and really cool stuff.
A lot of people
we can talk about that.
A lot of one more. A lot of people don't consider wildlife important until they're endangered. I want you to segue from that to the local county concern with respect to wildlife right here in Albany County,
yes,
if you would.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we are experiencing, so I want to say that's why I started my engagement in politics, and what I found in both the races I ran in the past is that actually people really are concerned about climate change. They just don't think that their neighbors do, so they don't talk about it. I had amazing conversations in House District 46 about climate change and drought and fire. Remember the Moulin Fire, the big fire we had?
Right?
It was in 2020.
Right.
We saw it happening in real time. So as I was campaigning in 2022 in all over the district, people were talking about the fear of fire, wildfire, and climate change. And we see today, this year, we had no snow. You know me, I brought my dogs here last time to talk about the dog park. Right. And
how's that campaign going?
Good.
I heard so last week,
just
last week, the League of Women Voters in Laramie, Wyoming, held a forum. Their first of 7 forums, Thursday nights, now into July. You were in the first panel,
right,
and that was the Albany County Commissioner candidate panel.
It was excellent.
And it was like six magnificently prepared individuals vying for a few opportunities for two slots, right?
2 slots, yeah.
And 2 commissioner positions that are currently held by Pete Gozar and Terry Jones. So they are running for re-election. What do people know that you offer to be their next Albany County Commissioner?
So when they asked us, define yourself in one word, that was easy because I said foresight, because that's my strength. After all these years in science, I've learned to collect information and project into the future to prepare. The thing is about county commissioners, the job, someone told me, "Oh, I'm so glad you're running for county commissioner. It's such a boring job." And I was like, is that a compliment? What are you exactly saying here? But the truth of the matter is that county commissioners have a very limited set of responsibilities. And, they oversee the sheriff's office and can decide on, let's say, detention centers, which I'm opposed to. ICE detention centers, obviously, very much so. But the set of responsibilities and action a county commissioner can take are very limited, yet very, very influential on every day's life. And as we said before, for example, my concern is climate change, and locally it's water security, I call it. It's like we are used to the fact to talk about food security, you can't have food without having water. You can't have a ranch, a functioning ranch, without having water. Water is life. It is currently the biggest concern we have. You talk to anybody in the city limits, out the city limits.
Aquifer and water.
Aquifer
Very
and
important.
the river. So a big part of the water delivery in Laramie, in the city limits, comes from the Laramie River. Not the river itself right here in the Greenbelt where it's already contaminated, but we actually have water rights, and the city bought water rights from several ranches, which is great. The Monolith, the Bath, and Hart ranches. So we have the water rights. We can pull the water, and we do pull the water from actually snow melting and springs in the snowies, and then pipe them into town. Cheyenne also has some water rights from that same source, and Nebraska, but we don't pipe all the water to Nebraska. But we do have pipes going all the way to Cheyenne. Mm-hmm. So water right now, water security is the most important thing. What can a county commissioner do?
What would you do as county commissioner? What do you recommend?
Okay, so as you know, a lot of excellent work by the Albany County Planning and Zoning Commission. The county and the city collaborated on assessing the potential of the aquifer to supply water to the county and the city. And that was done before I joined the Planning and Zoning Commission, just to tell your listeners that I already am serving as part of the county leadership.
You serve on that commission.
I serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission for 3 years now, and I've been reappointed last year, so my appointment lasts until 2028. So even if I don't get elected to the commissioner position, I still will continue to serve the county. And again, being on that commission taught me a lot about what can you do and how do you do it in terms of being a county commissioner. So I have that experience to bring to the table. The thing, for example, is after a lot of studies, a lot of work, we have created the Aquifer Protection Plan, the CAP. But then how do you put it into place? What are the regulations that you should put into place to make sure that it happens? And one of the regulations is all properties that fall on top of the aquifer, that we need to make sure we don't build New York City or the Front Range over the aquifer, because then we won't have good recharge, and we risk the contamination from all kinds of sources.
You might tell the audience what kind of, when you talk recharge, how much land area, open land area, undeveloped, is necessary for a healthy recharge system?
So the Casper Aquifer is really interesting. It is about 700 feet deep. Most of the water in there is ancient. Recharge, there are various models. We need a lot of precipitation to recharge it. We are running really, really low right now. 2025 and 2026, we did not have the usual recharge peak in the aquifer. It is going down. It is still good. My pump, I live on the aquifer actually. I live near the edge of the wildlife management area up on the eastern slope. The western slope of the Laramie Range. My pump died, and I thought, oh man, do I need to lower my pump down into the well? It turned out.
Fortunately, it was just an equipment problem.
Yeah. So the aquifer is still doing well, but we need to plan for it. So back to the planning, we need to make sure there is no development on the aquifer. That's what the Casper Aquifer overlay zone means. It delineates the area where we should have very limited development. But on the other hand, you have property owners that have the rights taken away from them. How do you balance the two? So in the Planning and Zoning Commission, we had very lengthy, detailed, involved discussion based on science to make sure that we don't penalize landowners, property owners, for no reason. There are quite a few properties that are straddling the aquifer, but also the Satanka Shale. And the original plan was to put the boundary of the APOZ on the boundary of the property. And we said, no, we have modern technology. We can map. We have really good, in most places, really good delineation of where is the aquifer edge. In those properties where it's straddling both, we can put the boundary where the boundary is. We don't have to go to the property boundary. And that is huge for people who own land and want to do what they want with the land. So it's property owners' rights. So I've learned how to look at things like this and how to balance issues like this to make sure that the constituents don't lose out, but also that the community wins by having the aquifer protected, for example. So what else can we do? Aquifer is protected. We are monitoring it. We put the city put new monitoring wells in near the Imperial Heights and monitoring contamination and water level, which is really important.
I just saw you give me an opportunity to mention that the annual drinking water quality report, now available online, cityoflaramie.org/2025CCR, the address. If you desire, you can check out the current 2025 data on drinking water quality.
Absolutely. What's nice is that our aquifer and our river are monitored by the State Engineer's Office, and that data is available publicly. If anybody wants to go check it out, they can. The USGS has monitoring stations that are publicly available on a minute-by-minute range. You can go onto the website and look at what's happening to the river, what's happening to the aquifer. And of course, the city has monitoring wells that the data is hopefully will become more publicly available in terms of available online. So we can monitor, even us as citizens can see what's going on. So what else can I do as a commissioner to protect water security, to offer or do whatever I can? And that is protecting the river. For people,
the Laramie River.
The Laramie River, which is really, really low right now. And some projections are that it will dry by August. Most of the ranchers in the valley have basically are raising hay just for their own cattle, not so much for selling elsewhere. I know people buying hay. It's not good. And water rights are really bizarre and written for a time when we had way more.
Have you followed, Merav, have you followed the Colorado River Compact, that discussion? Mm-hmm. That River Compact expires the end of June, or the original expired. Yeah. Now they've pushed dates out, and they've got these benchmark dates of negotiation and stuff. What's your perspective on that, and how does that influence what's Albany County, Wyoming's the importance? What's the importance to Albany County?
So it's a different totally Colorado River is a totally different watershed. We are not connected. Wyoming is a continental divide state. So basically, we are on the Mississippi River, the Missouri-Mississippi River watershed. Our water flows east into the Atlantic, into the Gulf of Mexico. And the Colorado River used to flow to the Pacific Ocean through Mexico. and no longer does,
Right.
because
Well,
we're drawing all the water. But having said that, first of all, Cheyenne has water rights in the Colorado River. I don't know how and how they were going to get it, but just as an aside. But the same issue is happening here. Some of our water belongs to Nebraska because of those ancient water rights agreements. In 1920, 1922.
Yeah.
So how do we keep water here in the valley? How do we keep water in the Green River Valley, right? That's what the county commissioner can do. We have the legal right to impose overlay zones. Just like we did an overlay zone on aquifer, we can put an overlay zone over the river and associated wetlands. And that overlay can give us tools to retain water in the valley. I'm a wildlife ecologist, and I've studied river otters for many, many years, probably 40 years or more, across the globe, all sorts of species of otter. So I'm very closely familiar with the aquatic terrestrial interface, we call it, the relationship between the river and its watershed. And we've known that for forever, but we are having a hard time accepting this as a fact, which we should, that having beavers on a landscape really, really, really helps retain water in the valley.
Yeah.
And helps recharge the groundwater, helps...
There's a ripple effect in everything, isn't there?
I mean, I have to say that when I first got here to the University of Wyoming, we had a research faculty named Mark McKinstry. He worked with the late Sten Anderson, who was the leader of the CORP unit back then. Now we have Matt Kaufman. And Mark had this crazy idea back then that he's going to introduce beavers in Wyoming to improve riparian habitats for other wildlife. And they did amazing things. Even in the Sweetwater River, where it's all sagebrush, they actually got beavers established. Not with artificial dams like people are trying today, but they actually, well, you can call it artificial dam. They took old tires,
to get them started.
Sunk them in to create pools, and then they bought willow branches from all over and fed them. But they got them established, and so the thing we have, as an aside, Colorado has put together, and other states in the region, everybody's worried about drought, and retaining water here and not sending it down to Phoenix. Not that I have anything about Phoenix. So Colorado put together an amazing beaver restoration plan this year that they're going to very aggressively pursue to retain water in the headwaters of the rivers. And we should do the same here. And as a county commissioner, I can start the process and make sure that we can take care of water security, especially since we have water rights from the city purchases and we have the land.
A great deal of money is invested in mosquito control annually. What's your position and potential influence as a candidate for Albany County Commissioner with respect to mosquito control? I think you might have a unique perspective.
Yeah, so my perspective is I took my dogs to the dog park the other day, the Optimist, and we all escaped. Even the dogs.
With your lives?
Oh, we escaped without. I mean, the mosquitoes were horrendous. And that was a day after they sprayed. I couldn't believe it. Anyway.
Do we invest enough in mosquito control, or do we need to invest more, or do we need to invest differently?
I think differently. I think we need to come up with more strategy that is less harmful to others.
What can we do? Can bats be introduced, or can we introduce different species to control?
There are a lot of mechanisms. Biological control is one of them. Also, you can combine it with mosquito-specific toxins. So if you do spray, you do it such that you don't kill bumblebees at the same time. Yeah, I was, as a county commissioner, we don't control the city.
Yeah.
So city council has, and the city management have the responsibility for that. But, as I said before, in other issues that I testified, and I've testified in front of city council several times about, for example, the parcel that was blighted by Optimist Park.
Dragonflies can be introduced.
Dragonflies are a big
Yeah.
mosquito predator.
Wanna-
And amphibians. A lot of frogs and toads that have their larvae in water, they are mosquito predators. Yeah. So the problem is when we spray the mosquitoes, we also kill the predators because of secondary poisoning.
What kind of wildlife impact studies have been done surrounding this topic area in Albany County, Merav?
I don't know of any.
Is that prudent? Is that the foresight that you
No.
appreciate? Is that part of why you're running?
I'm running to bring a new and different perspective that relates to we are part of the ecosystem, and we can use a lot of ecological services that we can get from being part of the ecosystem that we are ignoring.
Mm-hmm.
We, instead of bringing in beavers, for example, we put cement pipes and irrigation ditches and things like that actually prevent recharge of groundwater and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that there are not engineering solutions that are easier to implement sometimes, but I think there are a lot of things that we can and should do that we need a different perspective on.
The next question comes from the audience. If the May 5th special ballot initiative on the 6th penny tax had not passed, what programs would you have looked to reduce in order to meet shortfalls?
Okay, so we are already on a shoestring, and I hate to think that we will have to reduce anything. I think that the main thing we need to look at is how can we become more efficient rather than what can we cut. And I think we're doing a lot of things that are not very efficient. I'll give you an example. It's not anything the county or the city are responsible for. It's actually the state doing it. Repaving Grand Avenue. We have so many streets across the county and the city that should be repaired. Grand Avenue doesn't need to be repaired right now. It's not perfect, but I tell you, I drive all kinds of lots, and a lot of them are in much worse condition. So my point is, when we do planning, we don't talk to the other agencies as well. For example, let's talk about water again. Sorry to bring it up again. But, the university got their own water rights now. And they provide their own water. They have a new pump station on the corner of 45 and Crow. And they don't report to anybody. And we don't like the way they use water. We think they are over-consuming. But we don't talk to them. Or if we try, they're ignoring us. So
or the public doesn't. Sometimes I don't know if the public knows if those conversations are happening, and the public certainly isn't always present for those type of conversations that happen where they have.
Not all of them. We do have pretty good transparency in Albany County and City of Laramie, I have to say. That anyone can come and participate in any meeting. They're all publicly open. You can talk, as we know, express your opinion, even if it's opposing what's going on. But a lot of things are happening behind the scenes where we don't know about. I can give you examples up the wazoo if you want that are not good for the public good. And we
give
don't
us
know
one.
about them.
Give us one before we go to break, and let's dive a little deeper into that before we take a break and come back for our listeners here on the Talk Shop.
Excellent. I will do that easily because one of the things that I discovered while trying to establish a new and improved dog park in Laramie is that the south end of the fairgrounds, which is 40 acres, of which only one soccer field was built on. Actually, the whole 40 acres are encumbered by the state of Wyoming, and we can't do anything on it for 100 years because the state gave money to build that soccer field. Have you heard about this?
I haven't.
You haven't heard about it?
No.
I don't. It was done back in 2017 or 2016, and we don't know about it. And obviously, no more soccer fields are planned to be built in the near future, and the land is sitting there while we need 30 acres for a new dog park. And that's something that I'm working on. You asked me what I'm doing. I'm
That's one of your pros sites. You have eyes on that.
Not for myself, for the community, for people who are, going to school and working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
How are they going to exercise their emotional support dogs?
Merav, how does somebody reach you, before we take a break and come back, how does somebody reach you, Merav Ben David, for Albany County Commissioner, your campaign running, and how does somebody reach you to find out more details, ask more questions, and learn more about you?
Just look me up online, you type it in, and you'll get my website or my Facebook page or my Instagram. You can also email me or even text me. My number, all my information is available.
Merav Ben David, today's guest on the Candidate Awareness Tour 2026, brought to you by Deviant Piercing and Tattoo, Perkins Restaurant and Bakery, and I-80 Towing and Automotive Services, along with Snowy Range Flea Market.